Hello, and welcome to the Touch Yourself show with Tony and the gang. And with me, I have Maureen Wachi. Hi, Maureen. Hello, Maureen. Are you there? Seems you're a bit frozen.
Hi,
Everybody's
Tony.
having
Hi,
network issue.
viewers. It's been a very long, long while. You've not seen my face.
Exactly. We've gone AWOL. But it's good to be back. Glad to be here and talking about an issue that I think not only affects us in Nigeria, it affects us worldwide, and it's not just in terms of sickle cell. It's a general issue, basically. We live in what I call cancel culture mentality, where when things are not okay or they don't seem right with them, they cancel it as they call it. So today we're talking about creating a tolerant society, and it's in commemoration of the International Tolerance Day, which was November 16th, right, Maureen? Was November 16th, and I was celebrating that. I wanted to talk
Yeah.
about such an issue, not just generally, but especially as regards uh, people with sickle cell, when it comes to stigmatization and the fact that they think that we're pretending when we cry out in pain and all that stuff. Yes, I know sometimes some of us can be difficult because we are in pain, which is understandable. We don't know how to cope mentally with that pain, and as well as physically. So we may say some things which don't really mean, or do some things which don't really mean, but because of the way we feel, we may take it out on somebody else, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't be empathetic or tolerant. So we're going to be talking about tolerance uh, today, and as usual, I have my trusty companion, Maureen Machi. Maureen, I hope you are getting ready for Christmas, whatever that is. Can you hear me, Maureen? You frozen again. Okay. Yeah, no problem. My network is really
Yes,
bad. But
I can.
how?
So exactly whatever that is. So
Yes. Well, we'll work it out here in good old Lagos, where traffic, how like seized or held up, with roads being fixed here and there. But it's all good. We are a tolerant country. We are tolerable of all the decisions that are made. In some ways are not. I mean, what on earth can we say? Anyway, I'm going to bring on my guests so that we'll get right to the nitty gritty of this
very
conversation.
tolerable.
First of all, I will bring out a very old friend I've not seen in a long time. I think this lockdown has locked us out, and that is Matthew Adedoyi. Hi, Matthew. You're mute. Oh, yeah, mute. Okay, let me unmute you. Oh, I can't you have to unmute yourself. Yes. You have to unmute yourself.
I found it eventually. Good
Aha, we
evening,
can hear
Auntie
you now.
Tony. Good evening, Maureen. I was trying to unmute myself. I'm new with on this platform.
Well, you will learn, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it once you get used to
Yeah, absolutely. How are you
it.
doing, ma? It's good to see you after a very long time.
Yeah, so I said that we've been locked out by COVID.
Mm,
It is well.
yeah, it is.
Let's be having you. And
Same here.
before I get Matthew to tell us a bit about himself, I'll bring on our next guest, and her name is Kemi Oguntimei. Hi, Kemi. We can't
Hi,
see
good
your
evening,
beautiful
ma.
face. You need to move your camera, yeah, a bit to the. I don't, is it? Yes, your right. Move your camera to your right.
Mm.
Yeah. Hi, it's good to see you. Thanks for coming on the program. Uh, I'm sure we'll be able to have a good discussion. So I want to get right to the talk of things. First of all, Matthew, can you share a bit about yourself? Who is Matthew Adedoyin? You are muted.
My name is Matthew Femi Adedoyin. I work as a therapist with Research Mind Company. I used to tell people that I'm your guy when it comes to becoming newness. When you are tired of being old, you want a new life. Anything that means new to you, I'm your go-to guy for every form of newness. And
Mm,
I I do this through coaching, through therapy, through counseling, and through consulting. That's just summary about who I am, basically.
yes. Great to have you. Great to have you. So, Kemi,
Thanks for
what
having
about
me.
you? I see your little one is in the background. Tell us a bit about yourself. I want you to tell us a bit about yourself. Can you hear me, Kemi? Kemi, are you there? I can hear your kids, but I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Aha, can you hear me now? Kemi, can you hear me? You don't seem to be able to hear me. Wow. Oh, she's gone off. Okay, Matthew, let's go back to you. I know this is the challenges we have with all this technology, but let me shoot with this question. Okay, we're talking about tolerance, creating a tolerant society. Now, people will say, okay, well, how do you define tolerance? Because some people can be tolerant of corruption or some negative things. So, how do you draw the
Yeah.
line in tolerance?
Tolerance is basically being patient, understanding, and accepting difference.
Hmm.
Understanding and being patient with difference. Um, you do not necessarily have to accept the difference, but you have to understand it because
Hmm.
the map is not the territory. The way you see the world is not the way everybody sees the world. The map is just the representation of the territory, it's not the territory. So our worldview is just the representation of how we see the world and is not the world in its entirety. So
Hmm.
tolerance is your ability to be patient and understand with other people. You don't necessarily have to accept their point of view, but you have to understand with them so that you understand that difference is normal.
Hmm.
Difference is normal. So on the negative side, that people are corrupt doesn't mean you should accept their corruption, but sometimes you can just understand that okay, people do bad things for good reasons sometimes. Does that justify their behavior? No, it doesn't
Hmm.
justify the behavior, but you as a person, you tolerate it and let justice do its course, not you being intolerant to the level where you want the whole world to be like you want the whole world to act like you want the whole world to behave like you. So tolerance is simply your ability to be patient and understanding with difference. You don't necessarily have to accept the difference, but understanding and being patient with difference, whether positive or negative.
Hmm. So tolerance is accepting the difference, but not necessarily agreeing with it.
Understanding the difference, being
Okay,
patient with the
understanding the difference.
difference, but
Hmm.
you don't necessarily have to accept that
Accept.
this
Okay.
is where we should
Oh,
live. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. I like to put it this in this context. When you talk about tolerance, because I said there was always a perception of okay, there's negative tolerance. Now somebody would say that okay, if my tolerance uh affects my let's put it, my environment or my I won't want to use mental health because that might be a bit extreme, but affects my own psyche. How can I balance that? Which is because one of the things people will think about tolerance is like, okay, yeah, like I use the context of the corruption. Now we all know
Yeah.
the situation with corruption and things. Uh saying, oh, like Nigeria, you find, let's look at government establishment. It may not be your character to be like that, but because you live in an environment, there's a tendency for you to get tolerance of that situation. Um, is when you are like that, do you just accept it? Because that's where I'm coming. Is it a situation where you just accept whatever comes, or you know it's wrong, you do your own bit, but then you still understand it when people do it for a particular reason and not because they are greedy, if you get my
Okay,
meaning.
that I understand the reason why people are corrupt does not mean I do not believe that justice should be served when they are caught.
Mhm. Mm,
Me now accepting the corruption is when I am becoming like them.
mm,
So my understanding that corruption is in this environment is why when I see people that are corrupt, I try to figure out, okay, why are you doing what you're doing? I'm being tolerant. But if you are caught, I will speak my truth so that you can go to
mm,
jail, because
mhm.
you are sincerely corrupt and you should be sincerely be in jail. So tolerance is me not accepting it, but me understanding with you. You have explained why you are doing all of this. Is you want your future generation to be able to be fine. That's why you are stealing. You want to be able to feed your family. That's why you are stealing. I understand that with you. But in my understanding, justice should take its course. So if the repercussion or consequence of your corruption is to go to jail, it's fine by me. I understand that too. That's me tolerating that the law should take its course. So tolerance for me is I understand with you, but you should face the consequence and me tolerating the consequence that you are facing.
Yeah,
I hope I
yeah.
answered the question, man.
Yes, you did. I just wanted to lay a baseline so that people can understand the difference. So over to you, Maureen. I hope Kemi can hear us now.
Yes.
Oh, great, great. Yeah, you're muted, Kemi. Maureen. Yeah, yeah, yeah. On now.
All right. So, Kemi, you're welcome. Wanted you to introduce
All right. So,
yourself.
Ken, you're welcome. Wanted you to introduce.
Thank you. Hello.
Go ahead, Kemi. We can hear you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. So good to be here. I'm Kemi Oguntimeni.
Okay, and okay, just tell us a bit more about yourself. Who is
Okay,
Kemi
we've lost time.
Ogutime? Oh, we've lost her. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a challenge with network. Okay, I think she's trying to come back.
Lost time.
Sydney, can you hear us?
Yes,
Hello?
even here. So, she's foundation about what tolerance is back again. We can hear you.
I can't hear anybody. Please, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes, we can hear you.
we
We
can
can
hear
hear
you.
you.
Go ahead.
We can hear you. Can go on, ma'am.
She doesn't seem to be able to hear us. Maybe she puts
We
on a
can hear you,
headphone.
Kemi. Can you hear?
She's gone off again.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Maureen. Okay, I
Okay.
think I'll go back to you. You ask you continue the conversation with Matthew while we're trying to sort out Kemi. That's the challenge with network. Technology. Go ahead, Maureen.
I think Morintu is experiencing bad network. She's
Hey,
no.
and funny
This
enough,
is
why I came in, I
this.
was the one having the network issues. All right. Anyway, so we're going to we just celebrated the World International Tolerance Day, and why we thought about this is that we live in a society where there's a new lingo now, cancel culture. If you don't like somebody, you block them. If somebody did something, you block them. You know, how did we get here? That is what I want to discuss. How did we get here?
No, we live in a society where values are eroding. The values that are being passed down these days is the value of I can be what I want to be, I can do what I want to do. If I don't like you, you get out of my life. And it's a terrible culture that the young generation that we are bringing. We are building a generation where young people cannot tolerate each other anymore. So we are building a generation where we are saying difference is no longer okay, and that's where the problem is started from. So values are not being dropped. So, say for example, you see our parents, and this goes back to family. We see parents where parents tell their children, so family, do not play with them, do not associate with them. And the child grows up. As a child, the child does not understand that. But as the child becomes an adult, the child begins to believe that okay, it's okay for adults to cancel this set of people, but children don't do that. So the adult grows up because of many repetition of don't play with this child. Don't You are a Christian, don't play with a Muslim. You are a Muslim, don't play with an atheist. Or you are a boy, don't play with a girl. You are an Igbo, don't play with a Yoruba guy. You are an Hausa, no. We begin to give themselves name. Igbos will call the Yoruba often Madu. Yoruba will call the Igbos Amajokuta Mamumi. We see every Hausa will call them Eroko, Aboki, and all of that. So we grow up as an adult and believe that is the way of life. And the moment we believe that is the way of life, it becomes our culture. So we grow up as children tolerating each other. The moment we become adults, we can no longer tolerate each other because our parents over the years have painted in our heads that we are different from these people and difference is not okay. You must like those who are like you. You must hate those who are not like you. And that's how we have found ourselves in this generation. And this Gen Z generation, they have amplified that behavior that have been passed down to them. They amplify it, and it is becoming a way of life. Now that it is a way of life, there is little or nothing we can do about it, except a new culture comes up that will take away this culture that we have already built. And that's why we find ourselves in this cancel culture, in this culture of inability to tolerate each other. Our parents has passed it to us unconsciously, subconsciously, and we have grown up to accept it as a reality, and it has become a culture.
Wow. Wow. Maureen, are you back with us? Do you want to ask something? That really brought me. I was remembering some things as he was talking, and I was just, yes, that's true. Especially the don't play with this person, or maybe because two families are fighting, they now say don't
Yes,
associate with this
yes, it has
family.
gone on.
Yeah,
Yes,
and then
it
your
has
mind
gone on
literally
into
becomes
families.
exactly. Exactly. Even your best friend, though, something caused the fight between fathers. They now start. they now say, no,
Yes,
your
Yeah,
the
because
family.
children now take it on from there.
the children now begin to fight because their parents are fighting, and that is where
Yes.
we got to
Yes,
this inability to tolerate each other.
yes.
Wow.
And a lot of people have brought it into the professional setting, such that now I'm going to bring you down to the SCD perspective or people with chronic illnesses and all that. So we find a lot of so-called professionals, you know, behaving like this even in professional settings where nurses and doctors cannot work with each other because they are from certain ethnic regions, and then somehow it spills over even to how they manage patients under their care. Yeah, it spills over to how they manage patients under their care. So now we want to know, my question, how do we curb these situations where we see professionals who are being not unprofessional in their in their professional settings, in the professional environment. where because somebody is open manner, as they have called it, they tend to not keep their differences outside the gates before they come into their work station, and then they carry it on as they like, such that it spills over even to people who they care for. We hear that a lot. We see that a lot when it comes to people living with chronic illnesses or SCD. People complain a lot about how they are treated in the hospitals and all that. So how do we create? How do we a way to foster tolerance in settings like this?
I didn't get your question. I get everything you have said, but by the time you were asking your question, it was already breaking. Can you please ask the question again?
Okay, so I asked that how do we kind of foster a tolerant relationship in settings like that? The examples I gave. How do we um, you know, create tolerance in such settings, in such professional settings?
Number one, we must begin to eradicate this superiority mindset. I'm superior than Maureen because I'm a man, or I am superior than you because the president of Nigeria is from my hometown, or I am superior than you because I am richer than you. We must begin to accept that we are all equal, irrespective of your race, your background, your wealth, and your ethnic. We are all equal. There's no the moment one person begins to feel superior over the other, there's always chaos. The moment a man wants to dominate a woman, there's always chaos, and that's one of the problems. So we should eradicate superiority complex, and we must check our ego. Sometimes in conversation, the reason many conversations leads to argument is not because we are looking for what is right. It is always because we are looking for who is we are looking for who is right instead of looking for what is right. The moment we begin to look for what is right, most of our conversation will remain as discussion. We won't be raising our voices at each other. We won't be fighting. We will have intellectual discussion, and it will end there. But when we begin to look for who is right, then we are beginning to create an environment that cannot tolerate that sometimes children can be correct than their parents. I remember one day on Twitter, Obi Ezekwesili was having a conversation with his son. Obi posted something, the son disagreed with the mother politely, and they were back and forth going on between mother and son. One boy just came from nowhere. Madam, you did not train your son well. That's why your son can be arguing with you in public. I mean, from nowhere. And the woman responded that we are having a conversation. At the end of the day, we found out that the boy was correct, Madam Obi was wrong. So if the boy had not started the conversation with the mother, believing that mommy is always right, I cannot correct my mother, we will not be able to be the tolerating society. So we must kill superiority complex. We must accept that we cannot always be right, and we must kill our ego. Then respect other people's model of the world. Your own model of the world is not only the only model of the world. For example, if we write 6 on the ground, from my own side, I may be seeing 6. From Auntie Tony's side, she may be seeing 9. For me to be able to see what Auntie Tony is seeing, I have to come to her level or to the place where she's seated to see what she's seeing. Why she's seeing 9, I'm seeing 6. For her to accept my own reality, she had to come to where I'm standing to see why I'm seeing 6. You have lenses. I'm seeing Maurice's lens. Maurice seems to be using an anti-reflection lens. Okay, like Anthony is using anti-reflection because the moment she changed herself, I saw the green light. For example, you are using your lenses. Our lenses are different. If you are using a blue lens, you are using a pink lens, you will see the world as pink. You will see the world as blue. I will see the world as black. That is the difference. So we must accept that lenses are different and the way we see things are different. And we don't see the things the way things are. We see things the way we are. So we must accept that we are different and people are also different from us. Respect people's model of the world, keep superiority mindset, and also do not believe that saying that children cannot know better than adults. Why do you send us to school, our mothers? Because you expect us to be more intelligent. You expect us to know more than you. So if we kill all of these things, we will begin to create an environment that is tolerating. And we must flee this mindset of ethnicity. It has killed us. When we kill ethnicity, we kill religion, and embrace humanity, we will have a tolerating society. Because many of us do not embrace our humanness, we do not embrace our humanity. We are now beginning to say that I am a Christian and Christians are superior to Muslims, or I am an atheist, atheism is superior to this religion. That is what has led us to this problem. Or one ethnic is superior to another ethnic because the president of the country or the governor of the state is from my ethnic group. I am superior to every one of you. When we kill all of these things, we will begin to build an environment that is tolerating. And also, even in the office, don't say because you are not the manager or you are promoted over your subordinate, you are not superior over them. You are fortunate to be promoted over them. That subordinate may leave that job and get a better job, which it will now become more superior than you in the place where he's working. So you have to be able to what? Tolerate people, respect them. When you respect people, when you respect their views, when you respect whatever they believe in, we will begin to build an environment or a society that can embrace and accept everybody as they are.
Thank you very much for that. So, one thing that stood out for me is that we should all get to the point where we understand that everyone, first of all, before anything else, human before anything else. Kemi, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, great.
Okay, so I'll coming over to you now. I believe everything Matthews has, everything he said so far. So I'm going to
Yes.
ask you now, coming from coming from someone who is a sickle cell advocate. You're an advocate and you also live with sickle cell. Now, sometimes when I read your stories, I want to like, man, this babe has passed through a lot of things people say, even down to professionals, how they treat you, how they have treated you, what they say to you, and things like that. So, given that you've heard everything Matthew said, so I would like to ask you now, coming from that perspective, what would you say? How would you say um, we should, as a society in total, as a society, what would you say? How would you say we should create a more tolerable society for people who live with chronic conditions?
Okay. This is what I will put. First of all, when it comes to tolerating each other, especially people that live with chronic disorder, I think the first thing people don't do is that they don't listen. They don't listen to us. Now, let's say I'm going to the hospital, I have pain, and then I'm trying to explain the level of my pain to a doctor. The doctor assume he has seen it all, or he assume this should be the level of pain I am feeling. Without listening to me, they actually pass a judgment on you. They don't really want to listen to you. They don't have that patience enough to listen to you to know that, okay, where are you coming from? Where exactly are you trying to talk to? Or let's say you are in a school, you are in a school and you are trying to talk to your lecturer about your pain. This is the reason why you can't come to class because you are feeling pain. But the lecturer is not
Oh,
listening
dear.
to you.
Kemi has gone off again, I guess. Oh, beautiful network. But are you with us?
Yeah, yeah, I'm here. Nepal has done their thing where I am, so that's why I can see
Okay, no
clearly.
problem. Put yourself on. We can hear you at least. Yeah, no problem. As you were talking, and Money was asking questions about the medical field. I was saying it was not even only tribe. Tribe is even that one is even more evident. There's a one of levels of profession. Like you can have, in nursing, there are different levels. There's a registered nurse, then there's the I think is it called auxiliary. There's a fight within them.
Yeah,
on different things. I
absolutely.
don't know up to me.
All of these
Yes,
professions,
or
they are always fight. This one feels
exactly.
superior. The doctor feels he is superior to a lab scientist. Lab scientists feel they are superiors to the nurses and all of those things.
Not
That's why
yes, and the
we are where we are
pharmacists
today.
feel they're the same as the doctors, and they should get the same. So it's all a complex issue. But what? Oh, Kemi is back. Let's leave. Kemi, you are saying something. Can you continue?
Okay, so I said many of these doctors, they don't really want to listen. So I think if you want to be tolerant to people, we should be able to find a way to listen to people and okay, let me hear your perspective. What is it that you are feeling that I'm not understanding? Because it often comes from a place of misunderstanding. Like you are not ready to listen to me, you are not ready to understand my own perspective. So you just assume this should be the way. Okay, like he said people just believe that this is as a Christian, you're not supposed to play with a Muslim. We just assume this should be the right way. There are other people's perspective to things. Because I'm feeling, and as an advocate, when I talk to another person living with sickle cell, the way I feel my pain is will always be different to the way someone else is feeling their pain. We don't handle things in the same way. So number one is that people should be, if you want a more tolerant society, especially for people living with the chronic disorder, people around us should be more should be able to have patience to listen. The first thing is listen, ability to listen well to whatever you, and then ability to learn from my perspective, understand where I am coming from, understand what I'm trying to explain to you. That will create a more tolerant society.
Mm, mm. Okay, Matthew, I'll ask this question. What role does mental health play in tolerance, in having a tolerant society?
I think the question should be rephrased. What does having a tolerant society
The
play in
tolerant.
mental health?
Mm,
Okay. I would say this: if we do not tolerate ourselves, we begin to build a society where a lot of people will die of mental health, and that is where we are going to. If you will agree with me that the level of mental health issues in this generation is way higher than what it used to be. Of course, people might give
mm,
excuse that parents were not talking about it. That's why we did. No, the rate of mental health issue, especially in Gen Z generation, is extremely alarming because of the
yeah.
cancel culture. Because we cannot tolerate ourselves. So the moment, as long as we keep creating a society that is not tolerable, we'll keep having a mental health issue continuously increasing. And unfortunately, we have less people, less professional to the number of to the amount of mental health cases we are beginning to have these days. So
Yeah.
it is a tolerant society that will reduce the level of mental health issues. Say for example, say I made a genuine mistake, and I on social media, genuine mistake. Maybe I do not know a particular thing, and I misrepresented or misinterpreted a statement, and I shared my thought, my personal opinion on social media. You see people that will just come where they sort of okay, without caring about what you are feeling. And when you
Yeah.
are even trying to respond, they begin to troll you, they begin to sub you, they begin to shade you without considering what is going on in your head. And if, for example, you have grown up with a mindset that have said, maybe you have experienced rejection so many times, you have experienced unacceptance many times. With that experience, it will begin to affect you. You begin to take it as normal that people do not love me, or or I don't have sense, or this is what is happening, and begin to affect your psyche. You are now not proud enough to express yourself in public. You begin to experience panic attack. Maybe you have an opinion to share, you are not able to share your opinion again. Sometimes I'm scared to write on Twitter, because Twitter is not for the
Single.
faint-hearted.
Ah. Oh.
I'm scared. I'm scared when I want to share something on Twitter. I think about it. Does this make sense? I begin to question my own opinion, and
Opinion. Yeah.
that is not where we should be. If not that I believe so much in myself, there's many people that are still struggling with self-esteem. They are still struggling with self-belief. They are still struggling with self-worth. Those kind of people will not be able to share, because when they put up those things, people cannot tolerate. They begin to insult them, and it begins to affect
Mm.
their psyche, and mental health issue will continue to grow. It is only a tolerable society that can reduce the rate of mental health issue in this generation.
Yeah, yeah. So over to you, Bori. I'm muted. Okay.
One thing very consistent in all this is, apart from understanding that we are all humans first, is being trying to be patient, trying to see people's perspective, trying to understand that um, our own world is not the only world out there. Every other person, as they are, have their own world inside here. They have how they think or how they see. Only we can, if we only we can understand that, then we can have a tolerant society. So I really don't have any question at this point. I don't
Okay.
know if Aloysius has
Let me throw this
another
to
question. Yeah.
let me throw this to Kemi. Kemi, can you hear me?
Yes, Mike, I can hear you.
Okay. Being in the advocacy thing, I know you've helped a lot of people. Has there been a moment where you know, okay, this person lives with sickle cell, and you understand, because being a person with sickle cell yourself, you understand the challenges. But has there been a moment where you felt, oh, this person was creating an issue that does not make them tolerable? Because sometimes I see people, sometimes they do things and they think it's because of their health. Oh, they didn't do I didn't get promoted in my job because they didn't like that they are being stigmatized of my health, or you know, different things. Whereas maybe it's an attitude problem on their part. So have you come across issues like that where you feel, oh, this person is not because of your health, but of certain reasons? And how have you been able to talk to that person or even help that person to understand such challenges?
Okay. There are always cases like that, no matter how you want to put it. There are always cases like that.
Mm,
Sometimes you deal with some people that just feel entitled, and then some people just feel like, oh,
yeah.
everything that happened to me is because of sickle cell. The first thing I have to tell that person is, see, you have to start seeing things from your perspective first before you see it from other people's perspective. First, ask your question deeply. Why is this happening? Apart from your sickle cell, because sometimes we often tend to say that, oh, my relationship got broken because I have sickle cell, or they did not promote me at work, or I didn't get that job because I live with sickle cell. No, you have to ask yourself, did I perform well at that job interview the way I'm supposed to do that? The you should you should you should see it from your own perspective, see it from another people's perspective. Okay, now if this person, the way I acted in my job, if I employed someone and that person acted the same way, will I promote this person? That will
Mm,
answer the question. If you cannot promote that person, then definitely you know that you are supposed to work on yourself. Or you have some people where they tell you, oh, my relationship got broken because I live with sickle cell. Ask this question: can you marry yourself? Can you date yourself? Can you tolerate yourself? Because sometimes we have seen warriors that hide under the sickle cell to do some things, to feel entitled, to feel like the world owe me so much. They must do this for me. No, it doesn't come that way. So this
mm,
time around, you have to let them know. Apart from your sickle cell, like I used to tell people, see, we are all human beings first before sickle cell. Everybody will treat you well as human without sickle cell. Sickle cell is just another aspect of you. So people, there are some things that people expect from you: your attitude, your good character. They also want that from you. You should be able to provide that. And if you've done all this and people ask, okay, maybe at work, they still refuse to promote you, then we can start asking questions. Why are they not promoting you? What is it? That's how to solve the issue.
Thank you. All right, Matthew, I wanted to ask you this. In terms of being tolerable, there are situations where we are now having what I call new parents. There's this new joke. They'll say COVID pandemic baby. How can parents, because we're building a society where, especially with people with disabilities, or you have something that is not, I don't want to say perfect, or not the typical issues that or a person, they say that, okay, there's something wrong with that person. Uh, you now transfer that idea that, okay, somebody with a health problem, somebody with a disability, there's something wrong. Then the people don't become tolerable. I remember there was a time we were doing this genotype issue where somebody said on social media, oh, thank God, all these AS and SS. Thank God she's not one of them, that she's AA. And she was coming from a standpoint of superiority, as if she's better than them. So sometimes we as parents build this, like you said, build this mindset. So for coming parents, how would you groom or prepare children to understand differences in people? Like when you see somebody who is different, maybe they has a physical challenge, they don't go gawking, or those sort of things. How do parents make children more comfortable with associating with children that are different?
No, no children does not have a problem with other people with disability. Children have no problem with anybody. It is parents that plants those negative thoughts in children, and they grow up to accept it because everything is learned. So parents need to understand that our differences are okay, and that we are all differently privileged, and disability is not inability. That I am disabled does not make me unable or unable to do things in life. So parents are the ones that will begin to coach children that differences are okay. That you, Matthew, you are a man, Auntie Tony is a woman. That is different. You, Matthew, um, you are from Nigeria. Auntie Tony is a Canadian citizen. That, and it is very acceptable. However, in all of those differences, the mind is the same. We are all humans. There is no Asian brain or Jamaican brain or Nigerian brain. The brain is the same. In fact, it is because we were told that we were Nigerian from birth. That's why we believe that we are Nigerians. 5 minutes
Mm,
after we were born, we didn't choose our country. We didn't even choose our tribe. We didn't choose our name. We didn't choose our religion. We didn't choose all of these things. We were told that we were born at the year that we were born. If we are told that tomorrow that you were not born in 1987, you were born in 1990, you will believe it. And will not spend the rest of our life defending what we did not even choose. So parents must begin to accept that society is different and begin to embrace humanity.
thank you. Thank you very much. Our time is even fast spent. I'll just ask these questions, and it's
I
more
exist because you are existing.
oh, okay. I didn't know you were talking. I, I Matthew, are you there?
You, I am nothing.
Okay, you're breaking up a bit. Oh dear, he's breaking up a bit.
Yeah, I think his network is there's slight
Yeah.
delay.
Yes. Okay, tell me. While we're having that sorting out that challenge, I think his network is poor. Um,
Okay, I'm
for
back.
you,
I'm back.
okay, you're back. Great.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, you
So,
are saying.
so I was saying that we must begin to accept humanity first, that we are first human before we are any other thing. That is why I will see you and I want to hug you. I will see you and want to embrace you without feeling that I am a better person because of my genotype. There is no genotype that is better than another genotype. You didn't choose your genotype. I didn't choose my genotype. I was born to find myself like this. And so we must begin to accept that we are first human beings. So I tell people, I remember I was in a conversation, I think it was in a Sekusa meeting. I was talking generally with people. I said, when people say that somebody died of sickle cell, I laugh at that statement. That people die of diseases, people die of different things. So it is not that you die of sickle cell, maybe something happened that the person died of. Somebody with AS died, somebody with AA died. You will say she died of AA or she died of AS. Why are you always telling the person she died of SS? And they've already condemned people with sickle cell to death already, which is very, very wrong. So parents must begin to accept, and maybe awareness of our differences should be created. We must begin to create awareness that humans are different. Let's embrace our humanity. I am existing because you are. Without you, I cannot be anything. When I was born, it was others that named me. When I was born, it was others that baited me. When I rented my house, it was others that came to assist me in packing my loads in. So why do I now begin to think that as an adult now I don't need other people in my life? We all need ourselves. We all need others in our lives. Maureen is my friend. Without Maureen, I don't even think there are many things I'm doing in my life right now that I can do, because she is more like the coordinator of our destiny. You know, and that is how we must begin to embrace every other people. So parents should begin to teach their children that differences are normal and it must be accepted, and begin to even show it, not just by saying, begin to show it to their children when they embrace differences in other people and say that this person is disabled. It's not because that the person cannot do anything, it's because they are just different than you. There were many years ago, about 3 consecutive years, I was spending my birthday with children with Down syndrome. I kept going there, and people were wondering what is happening. Why are you? Do you have Down syndrome people in your family? I said no. I just love children with Down syndrome, and I was spending my birthday with them. First year, second year, third year, and I learned a lot from them. I saw children with Down syndrome with a lot of talent that I cannot do. I saw them baking cakes. I saw them building art, and I cannot do that. It's because I've come to realize that differences even makes our world better, and we must come to accept that. So parents should be their children's coach to begin to teach them, and not just teach them, and model the difference to them, and begin to make them accept it. When your children see that you as a parent, you are not segregating, your children will not segregate. But if children begins to, when parents continually segregate, no matter how you are telling your children to accept other people, they will also segregate, because they learn from what they see than what you are saying. So parents must begin to accept the difference.
I think we lost him again.
Yes, we lost him again. No problem.
I think my
Okay.
network has gone again, but I think
Yeah,
I've,
we're
I've
back.
rounded up
We're
my
back.
my thoughts.
All right. Great. Okay. I'll just do this final one. Kemi,
Okay, thank you.
what would you or Maureen, do you have something? Do you want to say something or comment? Give a comment.
No, no.
Okay. All right. So, Kemi, finally, what would you want people to know about sickle cell if they could just sit and listen and understand what we go through?
Okay. I want people to know that dealing with sickle cell is more than what exactly the doctors, maybe it's more than what they've read in school, because the way it affects individual is also different. Talking to parents, because each time I have some parents come to me, some tend to compare their kids with me, some tend to compare. So at a point in time, I have to tell myself, like, I have to start showing people that I am. This is what I go through. This is what I'm going through, or this is what I've been through. I need you to know that okay, I'm not that as strong as you think I am. Because some people are using me to judge their kids. I just feel like, oh, Kemi is doing so well. And I think you are just the only one that is not doing well. And because of that, it can be very, very frustrating when you tend to compare other people to your kids. People don't want that. So first thing,
Mm.
I want people to know that sickle cell affects all differently. The way we feel our pain is different, and then we cannot have the same symptoms of sickle cell. Because I'm having weakness doesn't mean another person will have it. It affects us differently. So I want even the doctors to know you don't need to compare different patients with each other. You don't need to compare different children with sickle cell. You don't need to compare all together. We are so different, and then whatever we are experiencing is on different levels. So I think if people can know this, it will be easier for everybody to deal with us individually. You'll be able to bring in our differences into play. You'll be able to understand that okay, so far it's not this thing is affecting individual differences. Okay, I can understand that somebody pain. I suppose for me to be going through pain and I'm shouting, another person might just be listening to music. That's our difference. And then you can also use it to attend to us. Not that, oh, can't you see your friend? That person is also going through pain. Why are you shouting? It's just the way I can cope with my own pain
Yeah.
at that point in time. So I want people to understand that sickle cell comes with its differences.
Great. Thank you so much, Kemi. Thank you. So Matthew, any last words?
I want to say that we should begin to build this. The next generation of parents must be parents that are accepting of humanity, and if we begin to accept the differences in our humanity, we'll begin to build a tolerable society. So as long as parents are embracing our humanity, the differences in our humanness, I know that you are different from me, I'm different from you. I may not agree with you in all of the things, but that doesn't mean I have turned you to my enemy. We just have
Mm.
disagreement. Disagreement is very normal.
Mm,
We just have disagreement, but in our
mm,
disagreement, we love each other. And if we can share love easily, distribute love, share love easily, we will build a more tolerable society, and we will begin to have less mental health issue in our society. I believe in love madly. I say it easily. People wonder, why do you just tell people I love you, I love you? I say I just want to let them know that I actually genuinely love them. That,
Yeah.
and it is pure from my
mm.
heart. I say it anywhere I am. Oh, Auntie Tony, I love you. Maureen, I'm sure Maureen must have heard I love you from my mouth a million times, because I don't hide how
Hope your
much
wife
I
knows
love.
it.
My wife understand. My wife was told that, why do your husband tell everybody I love you? That your husband distribute love so easily, and she has come to accept that that is who my husband is, because I want people to know. Because sometimes these people you are telling I love you don't know the last time they had somebody genuinely tell them how
Yeah.
much they love them.
Yeah.
So I consciously and deliberately distribute it, that I love you genuinely, and I've accepted you the way you are, and I'm going to live with you the way you are. I may not agree with everything you do, but I will never kill our relationship. I
Mm.
will never kill our friendship, because our connection is not a coincidence. There's always a reason for it. And like I always tell people, if we are related, we shall meet. And the reason I'm meeting Kemi today is because we are related. We may not be blood relation, but we are related somewhere, and our humanity has made us family. And I think
Yeah.
if we have that kind of mindset, we will build a more tolerable society. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Mm.
Matthew.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much. Thank you. And when you were talking about love, I was trying to pull up the lyrics of this song. Even before you started talking about it, I was typing away. And I just want to leave us with these words of an old song. I'm very old school. It says, what the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. what the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. So everybody, regardless of who they are, where they come from, needs love. Sometimes their attitude to your love may not be what you expect, but that is because of the background they come from. They probably never had that kind of love and they doubt your friendship or they doubt your love, but it doesn't stop you from loving them all the same. So let us love one another. Have a blessed week. We'll be having our final edition or final or season finale on the 11th of December. So don't forget to join us. It's going to be a bumper. We have everybody. We're going to be talking about a very interesting issue. So from me, yours sincerely, Tony Adeshola and Maureen. Yes. We want to sign off.
Thank you very much, Matthew Kemi.
Thank you
Yeah.
Thank
so
you so
much,
much.
Anthony, for
Thank you
having
so
us.
much,
Thank you
Thank you,
so
guys.
Maureen, for
much.
having us. Thank you,
Thank
Kemi. It's good
you.
to meet you on this platform. I believe we are family. That's why we are meeting.
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
thank you so much. It's
Oh,
good to meet
yes. Remember, this is a production of Sickle Cell Advocacy and Management Initiative. And follow our Instagram handles and our Facebook handles. I can't mention Twitter handles because we are still blocked or banned. But follow us at Sammy Updates and our YouTube page, Sammy Update TV. And don't forget to like and subscribe because we're going to be having a very interesting program and event coming up from the 5th of December to the 11th of December. And that is the Genometrics Art Exhibition, where we share the joy, the struggles, and the victories of people with sickle cell. So this is your opportunity to understand us better as we use art to tell our stories. Check our Instagram handle and our website, www.sicklecelladvocacy.org, for more information. Have a lovely week, everybody. Bye, Maureen.
Bye.